Hello and welcome to the Spirit Hunters podcast. I'm Lance White Eagle, and with me this evening are
Chrissy,
Hunter. This is staying in.
Brenda,
Lisa.
Shane.
Did you forget?
She's like, wait.
I forgot my name. I didn't know whether it was Grandma or Gigi.
And
Oh god, it's another story. Alright, anyway.
and in this episode,
I thought she said Jesus. I'm like,
whoa,
It's a long way
I'm
from there.
pulling a Kanye over there. In this episode, we're going to be talking about our ghost hunt at the Smith Parish Hardware in Portville, New York. And you guys want to give a little background information on the location? I want exact dates, please.
Can I pull out my notes?
1847, the Smith Hardware store was opened. We don't know exactly when it was built. It in 1875 burnt to the ground, was rebuilt in 1885, burnt to the ground, all by wood, and was rebuilt then with brick, and has been a brick building to date.
I don't know, it might just be my personal opinion, but if I build a building twice and it burns down, I'm going to say, you know what?
Maybe it's not gonna
I'm out.
Yep.
I mean, totally off topic, but there was a similar location that we went to before we were ghost hunting, where supposedly an exorcism had taken place, and the home that the exorcism in burnt down. So a few years later, they built another house on the same plot, burnt down. Built another house, burnt down. So they built like a playground, right? Like, but it's still like older, so it's wooden.
Yeah.
The playground burns down. So now it's
Isn't that a clue to leave that piece of land alone?
Get the heck away.
now it's just an empty lot with a bench in it, a stone bench.
The bench, because the bench somehow catches fire.
Yeah, the stone bench just melts. And you're not supposed to go in there at night, so Mikey and I hop the fence because we're in there at nighttime and we go sit on the bench. And it does feel creepy as hell in there. And we're like, yeah, we've been here long enough that we can leave without looking like wusses. And like, do we have to sit here a little longer? I think we're good. I think we're okay.
So the fence was around a bench?
Yeah.
Yes, around the lot. that
Around
house
the lot,
used to be
and
in.
there's just
the
a
fence was
bench
around
in
the
the
whole lot.
Well,
they
they
just-
just have a bench if you don't have for the ghosts to sit in.
Probably just some marker.
For
or
the-
something.
That's the demon
For the
bench.
demon, yeah.
Yeah, so give the guy that destroyed your property, 15 times a place to
Well,
sit and
it
live
was
for.
one of the stories. It was one of the stories that The Exorcist was based on. It was in that same town,
Oh.
and like it happened while the guy who wrote it, one of his professors, I think, was the priest at that exorcism because he went to school at the Jesuit university. But anyway, just the burning down.
Back to the
Yeah.
Smith Parish.
Yeah.
It was Smith Parish built this place. It was not the grandfather. The grandfather is the one that the home with the public library is in Portville, still exists. This was a grandson of the original Smith Parish that did a lot for the town of Portville, along with the Wheelers and so forth. And from what we found, it was a hardware store for almost its entire existence until the 80s or 90s. So close to 200 years or 150 years. Pretty
And
cool.
today it's the location of the Portville subway, so you can stop in there, get a foot long and a
Ghost
spook.
story.
Yeah, stop in there, pick up a foot long with free complimentary
I
ghost.
did eat a great big sandwich from there. It was pretty good. While we
Yeah, well,
doing
we were
walkthrough.
setting up and getting ready to investigate, and then I think it's me and you might have asked, like, where's your mom?
Yeah, she was.
And I was
eating
like,
in
I
the
don't know. Like, did she
restaurant.
fall somewhere? Like, let's go find her. We go downstairs. She just got Subway, just chowing down. I know. Okay.
You gotta get them carbs in beforehand.
And the owners were,
I get it.
and the employees were really
Oh, they were
cool.
awesome.
They were so
Yeah.
excited,
Yeah.
and
Right.
you know.
And the owner's family, very easy and fun to talk to, open-minded people, pillars of the community.
Wes
cat.
Wes tried to get into the cat has tried to co-star in this episode. Hunter told him he couldn't, and I think
No,
he's pouting about
he's
it.
attacking poor Summer around
Oh.
here.
No.
So yeah, the employees were really excited because almost all the employees had stories of something happening.
Yeah.
there.
In all places of the building. It wasn't
And-
just in the subway either.
Yeah.
You know.
And all the previous employees, I talked to several previous employees. This place, since it was open, which was a number of years, they've had experiences, the employees there and some of the owners, the entire time.
Some of the things the employees reported was that they would catch movement and have the feeling that somebody would be watching them while they were counting the register at the end of the night. They'd have the back entrance open and close, like the bell jing, like somebody's coming in when nobody's in there. They'd have people stomping around upstairs when the upstairs is pretty much abandoned.
Pots and pans.
Oh yeah, pots and pans clanking
cleaning,
together,
things
things
right
being
off the
moved.
wall.
People seeing things over.
Yeah, the one story that the one girl had said that they had a flyer, like a laminated flyer pinned to the wall, and that would go flying off the wall.
Pinned to the
Yeah,
wall, really?
yeah, would come on.
Yeah.
Someone
Just
go
rip it
fly-
off,
the girl
yeah.
who stayed with us,
Oh,
right?
not to
Yeah.
mention the door. They hear the door open all
Melody,
the time,
right?
and
Yeah.
that thing going on.
I think Melody was one of them.
Yeah.
Hi, Melody. When you watch this, one of the previous employees, Carol, which she said, well, I think it was okay to use her first name.
If not, sorry.
Yeah, if not, sorry. But when she was working there, she was on a break, came in the front door, she sees this man in older garb, who she recognized right away because they have Smith Parish's picture on the wall. Came up to the door like he was going to open the door for her, and she saw him almost 100% clear. It was just a little bit faded,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just disappeared. And then
Several
several,
trying to be a gentleman.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
and several of the new employees say they see him on a regular basis, especially when they're counting money. He watches them.
Interesting.
Well, you know, it's his business. You gotta check it.
You gotta check it out.
Yeah,
Gotta
make sure
make
you're
sure,
on
right?
up and up there.
Well, I had the K2 meter at the register when they were ringing out, and it was going crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like, and she goes, "See, Mr. Parrish, I'm counting out the money." And then she pretended like to take some. I'm going to take this. Meter's on. It's like,
I didn't know
hell
about
you
that.
are.
That's pretty cool. He's like, put that crap back
Yeah.
down.
From what I understand, he always sits kind of casually leaning against the wall or with his elbow out. Almost every one of them say they see him that way. And incidentally, Lisa caught him on the SLS camera, exact same pose.
You notice we tend to catch like the main person of the building a lot on the
Well,
SLS
that's because they're the ones that want to be.
Yeah,
And that's what he was doing. He was just kind of leaning,
Yeah.
leaning
Nice.
in the hallway.
It's cool.
In the hallway too, we set up the motion sensor by the door, so the only thing that could trigger it would be something coming in or out the back door,
Yeah. Right.
and that thing went off multiple times.
Boatloads of
A
times.
lot of times.
And the one time we even heard the door finish shutting.
Yeah.
It was us three, I think, right?
Well, I don't. It wasn't. Was that
Yeah, it looks
before?
like a
Remember, I
hair.
thought we saw the shadow of the door closing first.
We
then
did,
heard
and then when we got close, it closed the rest of, like the door like closes and then a second later it like,
Yeah.
so we thought somebody came in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
we
why
saw
we originally
the
put
motion
it
sensor
there.
went off, we saw the door open, so we went going down the hallway because it was like
Looked
1:30 in the morning. Got there, the door is still finishes closing all the way.
Yeah.
And
And obviously,
nobody around.
we looked out. There's nowhere they could have ran. The closest thing was 50 feet to the building that way,
Mhm.
or 75 feet to the building on either side.
We should probably note too, the reason we put that there is because the employees and sometimes some patrons would hear somebody coming that back door. They have a motion sensor in that hallway. It would set that motion sensor off. So we did that, and to make sure that people weren't sneaking in behind,
Yeah.
the building.
Yep.
Because that was another one we had, like, it kind of got out that we were investigating there,
Yeah.
and people were very excited. So we had a lot of traffic, like, even,
I think some of the kids had just graduated from high school,
Yeah.
so a lot of the younger crowd knew about it, so they
Yeah.
were coming around the
Yeah.
alley and
I saw like a number of like 13, 14-year-olds on skateboards.
In the front?
Yeah.
yeah,
hanging out.
they're just hanging out in the front of the
Occasionally
subway.
People walking
in.
through the window.
Yeah.
And grown adults, people. A lot of people were walking around, You know, it was a little hectic there for a while. We
You
had
felt like
a lot of
celebrities. No big
Yeah.
deal.
I mean, we generally do.
And we love towns like
Oh, he was
Portville and
joking.
St. Mary's where people really
I'm
are
not
into
joking.
it, you know.
Except that one guy who just walks in like he owned the
Like,
place,
it
and we're all
didn't
just
have anything
We
to
looking
do
at
won't,
with
we
him.
won't say anything too
Yeah.
specific, but that was
Yeah.
a little confusing
Yeah, we're all just looking at him.
because he walked in so confidently. I thought he was like what the
Invited.
owner or somebody. Like, he's like, hey, and I'm like, hey.
And then the employees are like, we don't know why
we
he's
don't,
here.
We don't know why he's.
We
not.
don't know
Yeah,
that
so
guy.
that's why we locked the front door.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't know
I
that
think
guy.
it was
Oh.
Melody, right, who then was like, yeah, I'm gonna this.
Yeah.
I was like, good
We did end up doing the investigation with a few of the women that worked there,
hmm
at least for a good part of it.
And they
Which was pretty fun. They were getting stuff.
very excited.
They were
and-
so excited and very helpful.
yeah. Oh,
You know, and they were quick learners on the equipment and stuff like that. And man, though, when they got something, you knew about it.
yeah. We also had a little fun when we were setting up. The upstairs had been converted at some point into like a batting cage. I guess. Big,
The high school team used to use it for
Yeah.
batting practice.
Never mind, go ahead.
oh no, they were cool with it.
Oh, really?
Like people, like even while Subway was in operation, they'd let people go up there and hit. Yeah, they just stopped recently because kids would ditch school
Yeah.
to go up there and just
Ah.
hit balls. So Monkey and Chrissy had a few pretty good hits up there, and then Hunter came up and we talked you into
Getting a couple
cracking a
swings.
few. Yeah,
We still got it.
kinda.
I haven't, yeah, right. I haven't even swung a bat in 16, 17
I saw
years.
Dakota and Lisa up there. Not this Lisa, Dakota's honey Lisa. Smacking the ball too. Lisa was hitting that thing.
Lisa 2,
Lisa too.
Lisa
I wonder
the
if she-
sequel.
Lisa, yeah, we probably should, number 2 is probably not the thing to call her.
Number 2.
I don't, well, yeah, I don't think she'd take it the wrong way anyways,
No.
but she, you know,
She's
she
actually
probably used to play some
joining,
softball. or
joining in a bunch of investigations recently. She's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like her.
So we came in, we explained all the equipment to the employees and such. Started setting up things. What was, anybody recall what some of the first stuff we started getting was? Because I was too distracted playing with Monkey.
Right away when we put the paranormal music box
It's over there.
in the kitchen area where they reportedly, where the kitchen meets the counter is where they see Smith Parish on both sides of those entrances a lot. So we put a music box in there and a footstep tracker, or what do you call that thing?
What's that tracker?
The wire.
Yeah, the one that
Footstep
sends out
wire.
ultrasonic pulses.
Yeah.
And I put it a good distance away from there so that at first that thing was going off like crazy. Something was continuously walking in front of that paranormal music box.
The music box was going off
Yeah.
even before you put the tracker down.
Yeah, the reason I put
Wow.
the tracker down is so that I could figure out which way he's coming from.
We did find out though, eventually though, if you put those facing each other, they'll
Yeah,
set each
somebody
other
just
off.
moved it closer.
continuously
Yeah.
set each
Well,
other
here's so
up.
like we know it took us a minute for us to figure that out, but I was in there with some of the workers and we noticed it was doing that, so I moved it back until it stopped, and then later on, I made sure to look. They're both in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
The tracing wire was going off like rhythmically, like it was going towards the thing, you know,
Yeah.
but it was the the music box was staying the same. It wasn't
Yeah.
changing at all. So I don't know if it was from that setting it off, and only for
I
some
think
reason
something was
registering.
just pacing maybe.
Yeah,
It could be,
something
but-
weird in there. So later, when you guys found that out, it died, and we just left it. The music box still went off on a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed too, when nobody was paying attention, you know, it's kind of like it got quiet for a while, but when it got somebody in that vicinity, then it'd go off. It's almost like, come see me.
Yeah.
The music box, by the way, if anybody has not watched our equipment video, which I highly recommend,
That wasn't on there, I don't think. We didn't have it at the time.
I think we did.
Oh,
And we've explained about it in our,
Yeah.
Other
Our live.
investigations. Yeah.
but it's a motion sensor that uses ultrasound sound waves to like determine distance if it detects something moving in front of it, and it plays this creepy
Yeah.
tune and the speed of the tune is, you can use how quickly it's playing to determine how close to the device that the movie is.
Right. Goes out about 12 feet. When it's that far out, though, it goes real
Slow, yeah.
It's really a cool tool.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened almost immediately.
Yeah, the K2 was going on while she was still eating her sandwich.
I was sitting there. So
And some of the meters were going off when we were setting up the equipment, too.
Mhm.
Still on the table, we just turned them on.
Boo Bear cried again when we turned them on. Yeah.
he doesn't.
He screams now when you turn them on. It's like, make it stop!
He stutters when he
well,
talks.
Yeah, oh yeah, well that's where we
he started
noticed that
stuttering.
So, if any of you guys have watched it, you should be probably familiar with Boo Bear. He's a stuffed animal. He's got
Boo
vocals.
Buddy is technically the official name of it. If you want to
Well,
look it up.
Yeah, we say Boo Bear. 'Cause
No, I was saying
they're not
to look
sponsoring us yet, but go stop if you're interested.
We got
Until then,
Almost
he's Boo Bear.
all of our equipment is from there. So
But we've talked about him many times.
Yeah.
He's got all these devices built into him, and he says trigger phrases to try to get something to interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at there we noted, like, Boo Bear's seen some stuff. And we had one investigation where there was...
It's traumatizing.
Yeah.
He's just a sweet little baby.
He is. But there was off-the-chart magnetic fields from a wiring problem, and it destroyed some of our equipment. Just the magnetic
Yeah,
field.
killed the camera.
Killed a camera, it fried her EMF
like
reader.
give you cancer level highs.
Yeah.
He
So
first noticed it at the cabin. That he
The
was,
stutter
he
was at the
stuttering.
cabin.
I think
yeah.
it was at the
Okay.
cabin.
He didn't
That's
start
all
stuttering
happened.
until later, yeah.
I'm not
But-
sure how.
Yeah,
Electronic
but that's what I was gonna
stutter.
say. So like, he's got these programmed phases, and one of them is like, I like music. What kind of music do you like?
have to tell
And
me.
like the last 3 investigations, he stutters when he says,
He's
he
like-
goes, I like music. What music do you like?
He's like, do you like scary stories?
The only thing I can think of is that somehow fried that some oddly specific part of his chip, or it's like got some satellite signal and the firmware updates itself or something. You know what I mean? Like,
But
I don't.
repeat a syllable.
Yeah,
it should not be
it's not just
able to
like
do that.
once it restarts. It's,
You figure it would
it's
be
just-
like scratchy or muffly
Yeah,
sounding,
no,
and you-
it's-
but no.
No.
Yeah.
He got so traumatized
Yeah, he's
that
just like-
the poor Boo Bear
Or
developed the stutter.
something manipulating it. I mean, that's
No, because it's been on multiple investigations
multiple.
now. I
That's
think you're
true.
right. We noticed it at that the house where the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts had used the barn and turned
Oh,
it into
right.
like a camping
Oh.
area.
I remember now.
Yeah, the Wilmot
I
Estate.
think that's
Yeah,
where we
I
noticed
think
it
that's
was
where we
sitting by the
first, because it was so
fireplace
quiet in
and-
that,
Yeah.
and it's sitting by
It
the
was like,
fireplace,
did
and
you-
we're in
do
there.
you-
We were in
and
the
it's
back of
silent,
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like, do you? And Chrissy's like,
We're like, did that just stutter?
Boo Bear just stuttered? Like, he's like,
Well, you know, that
what
one time
music
too,
do you like?
in the investigation, we were packing him up and he had a big hole in his rear end.
Oh yeah.
He's seen some stuff.
Yes, yes.
Apparently felt some
That
stuff.
would give me a stutter too.
Cool tip, the Boo Bear was actually one of our first, if not the first piece of equipment we got, right? For Lisa, I think
I think
years
the
ago for
Second.
Yeah,
I
don't
think
know.
It was-
the grid was the first.
We
the
had-
laser grid.
The
We
laser
had
grid
some other
was-
stuff there, but yeah.
Yeah,
that
Boo Bear
one
was the Christmas present.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes
Yep.
sense. But still, we've had him that long. He's got some defects now. But
if not for that house that just,
Yeah.
it's not Boo Bear's fault. Like
Yeah.
that house was
No, there was like
Something
power line
fri- yeah,
issues.
a power line
like,
issue
in there,
that
but
messed up a lot of stuff.
Well, you know, he goes, hey, that tickles. Somebody's touching him.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
When he says
And,
that
you know,
tickles,
What
or
we're going
I
to do,
like
we're going to give
holding
Boo Bear some
hands.
counseling.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he'll be
I
all
mean,
right.
I
Chrissy's a
can do that.
therapist.
I can sit down with them.
Do some sessions with him.
Look for that video upcoming on our TikTok.
Oh, man, that'd be
That would be
fun.
Sessions
One hour,
with
we
a
gotta
Boo
do that.
Bear.
We'll get these chairs over
Yeah.
here.
Chris has got the whole leg crossed.
Alex,
And how does that make you feel, Boo Bear?
It makes me
I don't want to talk about it.
He's like, do you like scary stories? Let's talk about you. Boo Bear."
Let's get back on track.
Oh, man.
That's a good video.
That'd be a fun skit.
Anyway, so right off the bat, we had K2s going off. We had
Didn't we have catball activity too? multiple times, or was that?
We had
Yeah, we had it's upstairs mostly.
Yeah.
Well, we had some in the
Especially in the
basement.
attic for some reason. It was.
we
For
had
where?
a little bit. In the
What are we
attic.
talking about?
The cat ball.
I'm sorry.
Subway.
Lisa's.
Subway.
I want to mention it's almost
Second, I
midnight.
thought we
Lisa's
were
usually in
talking
bed by now,
about
so if she, you
Oh.
know, she's got a good excuse.
Actually, like, we'll go into your guys' stories in a bit. Like, Chrissy and I and Monkey, who went with us, because, like Chrissy said, it was close. Kids had just graduated, and there was a lot of people out, and there were some people who were partying with quite a bit coming by. So Chrissy, Monkey, and I, and Hunter for good big chunks, we're sitting outside by the vehicles to make sure nobody was coming in who wasn't supposed to, and nobody was messing with the vehicles, because the investigation before, Hunter's car got broken into, and
Still my Arby's.
yeah, so we missed a good chunk of the investigation.
And a knife.
And a knife. Yeah.
Hanging out.
In a trailer hitch.
Do you remember, not supernatural, trailer,
Not
the
the
light
tools.
hookup.
The hookup.
Yeah.
The whatever.
Yeah,
it's
which
called.
makes you mad because that's like the third one that we had alive.
They left the wrap. So they didn't just take it. They left the wrapper on the floor and threw it outside of the car.
They took it out of this little plastic thing
Yeah,
and then took off with
but
it.
that was different investigation. But on this one, we also had, and that's another reason we stayed outside longer. Do you remember, we're sitting out there, and it's like 1:30, there's nothing, like the town's dead.
Yeah.
And we hear a cell phone ringing.
Oh, in the car or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, the hell?
Yeah.
So we go over, there's a minivan parked in the bank
That's-
drive-through, like shut off. And it's in the drive-through lane, you know, like blocking it.
Yeah.
I didn't know about
And like the cell phone's ringing, and then it like turns off, and we're like, okay.
Keep in mind, it's just right on the other side of. It's
Yeah, right on the
60
other side
feet
where
away.
Yeah, so we go back, we're sitting on your car and waiting, and like, cell phone starts ringing again, you know, and like we go, like we checked that car like hours.
And
it was sitting there
the
in
whole
the
time.
drive-through,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's suspicious. What?
yeah, it is. So we stayed out there for another hour and a half or
Yeah.
so, like, you know, well, what's this guy up? Because obviously somebody's in it,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Ate some taquitos. I don't know.
Some
ate some
nasty,
taquitos,
wrong flavored ones.
yeah. So anyway, so what did you guys start getting while we were eavesdropping on cell phone conversations?
Well, we did well, a few. Well, Lisa did rod sessions. Probably the most interesting one was in the basement. The basement's very large in that building, very long. You want to tell a little bit about your session in the basement?
Sure.
We were loud. You were
I-
a good rod session down there.
Yeah, it was a long. I know it was. I remember it being a long one.
I have that
I
on
don't
TikTok. I'll try to.
remember some of the questions that were asked.
Christine,
But I
We ain't gonna let
remember-
that slide. No.
I remember that rod being long in the basement.
Christy. Wow. All right. Anyways. Stop.
Just because it's after dark.
Anyway, can you elaborate on your?
Sorry, sometimes we get a little dirty. We can't help it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about the
We're golden children.
I don't really remember much of it. I remember a lady named Catherine.
Must not
Were
have
you
been that
too?
exciting. What? I'm on the long rod thing again. Sorry.
She said, must have not been that
If
exciting.
you
You're like,
didn't
I don't
remember
remember most of it.
Sorry, we gotta stop for real.
He's just like, I wasn't impressed. I don't.
All right.
Okay.
So,
You had a woman named Catherine come through.
Catherine.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was Elizabeth.
No,
And then-
Catherine came through. It was Catherine with a K.
Oh, that's right.
What was that? Okay.
And there was a
Catherine
couple
King.
guys. Can't
Mr.
remember.
Parrish came through himself.
Yeah, he came through on everything. He seemed to really like going around the building and setting things off and
Was it him
answering questions.
that was pointing us to the ice dispenser or the?
Cooler.
I don't
the AC
remember if
unit
it
down
was
there?
him or if it was just somebody else, but I don't remember.
Yeah. Do you want to tell that or you want to?
Well, one of this that was like towards
That
towards
was
the end.
towards the end. But
Towards the end of the session, yeah, the rods kept pointing to the
Back.
back of the basement, and no, you walked down there, and I had.
Well, because remember, they kept pointing, and we're like, "Well, do you want me to go down there?" We asked
Yeah.
it, and you said, "Yeah." It said yes. So I
Yeah.
went over there, and then you said, "Back up." Told me to keep going back, and then stop there.
Yeah,
and the
'cause
only
the
thing
rods-
up beside me,
The rods crossed to tell you to stop.
yeah, and the only thing that was beside me was that AC.
And so I was just like right or left, and it pointed to like the right, and you
Yeah.
looked, and it was the very icy covered.
The walk-in refrigerators for the restaurant above, the motors were below in the basement, and they were overly caked with ice.
But hold on, let me.
They needed
Do you remember that though? What that felt like? It was
Yeah.
warm ice. It was not cold, but it was 100% ice.
Because it's overheating the motor, but it's still got the ice from the, it's a combination.
Yeah.
What that does is it blows out the motor. We did tell the owner.
I don't think it was that. The ice. It was literally less than. It was like a 1/16 of an inch thick. If it was that warm from the motor, it'd be
You
melted.
would think,
But when we put our hands on it, it melted immediately. But when we're holding it, it's literally not cold. And we had that on TikTok. It was me, Tom, Jackie, and you all felt this thing, and everyone said that it was warm. It was not cold. It was the weirdest
Yeah,
thing.
it felt warm.
But it was
also in that session, right when Lisa started it, Harv and I both saw, we had 3 cameras in that basement because it's so long. The one at the far corner, quit smiling.
The cat's attacking Monkey, and Monkey's trying to be quiet about getting clawed in the stomach.
The spirit is getting you. But anyway, that something blocked out the infrared light on that camera. Slowly. I do go down there, I see a bat, couldn't catch anything, but thinking, well, maybe that's it. Then later we realized it was too slow, and it stayed in front of the camera for a period of time. A bat flying is going to go by quickly. Also, when she was doing the rod, she was doing a live session, and a couple of people, or at least one I know of, saw something block that out too. So that was kind of cool. But the big thing that she got down there is there was this rumor from the employees there that somebody had hung themselves on the elevator. There's this old creepy weighted
freight
elevator that
elevator.
was really cool.
who was with me when we found out what exactly happened? It was you in the basement. We were in the basement right before
Lisa's
that.
rods told you what
Remember
happened.
when we found out exactly what happened?
Well, what her rod said happened.
What the rod said happened.
That's
Go ahead.
what I was
Go ahead.
I was saying. But anyway, according to the rods, it was a young man, 19 years old. You guys gotta stop looking at other stuff. It's distracting.
We're late. We're getting tired. It's easily distracting.
He said, the young man said, yes, he got hung there, but he didn't, it wasn't suicide. He was doing maintenance on the elevator. The ropes, when the elevator dropped, the ropes got caught around him when he was working on it and accidentally hung
Yeah,
himself.
so he was hung. He didn't
Hung,
hang
but he
himself.
wasn't, it wasn't, he didn't
Total accident.
intentionally.
Didn't he tell you his name too?
He
David.
did, but I cannot
David.
remember.
His name was David.
Oh, his
David.
name was
It
David.
was, what, I think it was 19, I think he said.
He's 19.
Yeah, I think he said he was 19.
Yeah.
But we did get, I don't know who I was with. I think it was you and I, maybe Monkey and Hunter, because that's usually
The group.
the
It's either I'm with them or I'm with you guys. And so it's
I
like,
mean, yeah. But somebody was on the spirit box, and in the basement, and we thought we saw movement, which we think was the bat.
The bat. Yeah,
But-
it was, I think, yeah.
Yeah, the bat was flying around because Tanner was there. But I think it was you and I went to leave
Oh, yeah,
the
we
room.
went
We were
out.
getting
oh
nothing.
yeah, I was on the spirit box.
Nothing on the
Yeah.
spirit box
It
the
was
whole
like,
time. It
stop.
was nothing at all. And would go out, stop, come back.
And I'm
Right,
sitting
like-
there facing the ground like this because all I had was this
Wait a
tiny little
minute. So
thing
we
to sit
come
on.
back in. We're like, well, why? And we're asking questions. No response. Nothing whatsoever.
Don't want to talk to you, but when
No.
it doesn't
So I
want you to
go out again. Stop. Don't go. Or something like that. And
Or
we're
no, yeah, something like that.
Like, oh, okay.
As they're walking away
I was
too.
like, well, then give us something, you
But we
know.
would stay and then nothing really.
But then, like, Monkey was like, well, it didn't mind if Monkey left. You know, like, he and Tatum went out and it was like, but I don't know.
For you and Chris.
Yeah,
it
it
was.
didn't, I don't know.
Didn't the cat ball go off when you came back in?
No.
No, with Tommy.
Oh, with
I
Tom.
keep
the
saying
cat
We
ball.
Tom.
should also
Tom.
state
He
too,
goes
when Lisa
by
was doing her
Tom.
line in the rod
He does
session,
go by Tommy.
the rib pod did go off multiple times too,
Oh.
which was kind of cool. And that was, I don't know, 20 feet or so from us.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
We thought we had a bat answering questions.
Oh Lord,
A
I
bat?
was just tickled pink because we kept
She
hearing
was
this
so, like-
squeaking. We were asking questions and we'd ask a question and then Boo Bear would go off and you'd hear like
Oh,
like
in
a
the attic.
squeaking,
Yeah.
like high pitched squeaking, and it sounded like exactly like a bat squeaking. And I'm
Chris
like,
is
that
like,
is
"It's
so
talking
cute. And like I'm like the whole time I'm just tickled pink, and then we're done and we start packing, and I realize it's a vent at the
The
top
fan
of
in the vent.
On
it's
top of the
squeaking.
shaft.
And I'm like, no.
That, it was the bat noises. I think we all talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a bat up there. Keep
Yeah.
squeaking.
It was
wasn't
the
a bat.
vent, so-
It was an old, like, one of those
Yeah.
fans that
It
goes
goes,
with
and
the
it's
wind.
very
And it was
slow,
just-
and then it goes
Yeah.
at the top of the
That was
elevator
like
shaft.
heartbroken.
Kind of
I'm
like, was it a
no.
turtle sound?
No, it wasn't.
So
You need to put that at the end with the turtle.
Yeah, the
People know what we're talking
No,
about.
just implement it right now. That
Yeah, just dump it in.
I'm sure a lot of you younger guys know what we're talking about.
and they're not younger if they're familiar with that
Yeah.
video. That was like 20 years ago, buddy.
It's still around.
So we got cat ball stuff. Did you got something on the SLS, I think, correct?
Yeah.
When you were showing the employees it. I thought you
Oh,
got
was the
they
guy
were doing
leaning
the,
against the wall.
No. When they were cashing out, we
Okay.
thought Mr. Parrish came through and was standing between the two girls.
Oh, at the same time her K2 was going off.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you were standing on the other side of the
I
counter.
was
by
on the other
fountain
side of the
drinks.
counter.
Then I was standing at the register.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's kind of cool. So, a couple ways of confirming that something.
That he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was just standing between them as they're
Just
counting the
standing-
money.
Just standing
Watching.
Yeah.
there. Yep.
He seemed like something. He seemed when we were talking. She did a ride session later in the dining room, and he likes being there. And I'm like, you know, have you always been here? Do you ever go across the street to your grandfather's house? Nope. I'm
Gotta
here.
work.
He's
Got stuff to
doing
do.
his thing.
Yeah.
And then when you see he had the place for so long,
Yeah.
you know, then he sold it to his son David, you know, who had it for who knows how long, and then other people bought it as it was still
Is
hard.
that the same David who
No.
had the accident in the elevator?
No, at least I don't
The
think
David
so.
who had the accident in the
No,
elevator.
the other one
worked
he owned it for
David,
quite a while,
for
so
the
it can't
other
be the same one.
one. Yeah. But I mean that's pretty common
Yeah.
name.
Lisa, Tom, and I were in the third floor, and we were having, you know, another rod session. She was getting something, you know, happening there, and then we started getting cat balls. And for some reason, somebody put like 3 of them up there. We didn't even know where the one was.
Oh, but it's probably because you're talking upstairs in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very,
because
very
we
dark.
put one
Yeah.
up there, and then I think
put one up.
Tom also
Tom
put
came
one
along
up
and
there.
put
We
that
all
all up there.
Well, we didn't know the one was on the far. There was a dresser on the far.
Yeah, that
part
was
of the
us.
room.
I think we put 2 of them, one for each camera, and then
Oh,
somebody
So
else
we were
was
like,
there.
hey,
Well, I
can we
stuck
take
one
these
up
cat
there.
balls off and the rim pod, and it did, I think, do the rim pod a little bit, but it did that cat ball, then it did this one over here. And then it did the one on the dresser, which we didn't even know was there. And we're like, oh, that's really cool. I should say, too, when we were up there, there's a little, I don't even know, weird room in the back of there. We had a camera and the Boo Bear in there. I saw a shadow, because we had a bright light in there, because it was a different kind
You're
of
not
camera.
the only one that saw one in there.
What?
The blonde girl, and I think it was the redhead.
She was sweet. She was really into it too.
Yeah,
she had some
she loved it.
previous knowledge and other experiences that weren't just from there.
Yeah.
We'll let her do that someday. But they were pretty cool stories.
Yeah, those 2 went up to the attic by themselves at one point. They were asking me, like, what can we do, where can whatever, and they were up there for a good probably 20, 30 minutes. I came down, once I finally saw that they came down, I asked them, did you guys get anything? And she said that they saw a shadow in that back room go across.
And
So,
it's that room, we had this, like I said, a bright light that was on a certain kind of camera that was focused on Boo Bear. When I first saw it, I'm like, because Lisa's actually literally facing it. I just looked over that way. And Tom-ish, you know.
yeah.
So I'm like, they didn't see it. So I'm thinking, well, maybe, you know, about 10 minutes later, I see it again. And it's not like a person shape, it's just a big, long, angled shadow that went towards the Boo Bear. So
cool.
I'm anxious to see what that
It went
camera
towards?
shows. Huh?
Oh yeah, okay, no.
Yeah, towards
I'm
the
thinking,
Boo Bear.
yeah, did the same thing for them.
You can see from the doorway, you can see the top of a shadow. And then as it's going by, you can see the length of it.
Oh, yeah,
you
no,
know,
they just.
it disappears right into the
So
wall
you saw it
of
was
the
almost
Boo Bear.
like almost a whole.
Yeah, it was.
height?
Yeah, like from ceiling to floor, but
Oh,
at
wow.
an angle like this.
Yeah, they
It'd
didn't.
be cool if you had that on
Weird.
camera, and then as it goes towards
It's
him, he's
possibly
like, that
we do.
tickles, or something like you
Oh,
touched
or he
him or
starts
something.
crying.
Or he
That's when he starts
choking
stuttering.
until he starts studying.
Stutter.
I thought for a second we were going to have another ghost there. When we were checking out the roof, did you come up with this?
Yeah.
With Monkey and Bill?
Bill, yeah.
And like, you know, Bill's not a
Went
young
right to
guy.
the
Oh, we should say Bill Robertson was also
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, the roof has no, like, railing or anything on this side. And Bill just goes right up to, like, and he's, like, leaning over, taking pictures and stuff. And I was
And
like,
this is it's a tall.
we're going to have a Bill ghost in here.
Yeah.
We
I
had
was like,
access
what?
to the roof. Which
I
was really cool.
wasn't going
Yeah.
that far over, but I was like, watch out, Bill! And he was like, I'm a painter, it's fine. And I'm like, if you fall, being
Listen,
a painter ain't gonna help you.
Yeah, it was probably. I can't even because I have good eyesight. I was on the edge. I had a hard time differentiating the edge from like where the black of
Yeah.
the shadow
Yeah,
actually
it's
starts.
pitch black
Like I'm
out
sitting there
there.
like this. I'm
Yeah.
like feeling with my toe to try to find the edge before I actually come up. But I don't know how he was able to see it. It was difficult.
Well, it does help that he's even an older man. He's still over 6 feet, he's pretty far. You
Yeah.
know, he's pretty tall.
Yeah.
You can just.
Yep.
I don't know. I did look over there. It is pretty freaky.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool place.
Yeah.
I like it was
But yeah, we did get some action. And you know what else we heard up there too is movement
a lot.
in the third floor. Still don't really know what that was. Couldn't quite define where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
On the second floor, we got a lot of cat ball action, but I did have where, you know, we were told that the guy hung himself on the second floor.
Yeah.
I had a REM pod with a camera straight on that, and periodically through the night, that REM pod would go off a lot. That's all on camera. I make sure that every time I heard it, I went and go check to see if it was still on, because as we all talked about before, things get turned off a lot on us.
Yeah.
Actually, at that place, I don't recall us having much problem with that.
Well,
We
like I
did have
said,
a few things.
most of the time.
There were lights.
I meant to say this after the podcast. So most of the time, those cameras turned on, so they get too hot. So in that place, except for the upper floors, the downstairs floor was relatively cool. Basement was
Yeah.
cool.
Well, they had air conditioning down there.
Yeah. So
The third floor was.
blistering.
Oh, yeah, that was.
I was
yeah.
warm up there.
Mhm.
But
It's a cool looking building. I
We
wish
did.
people could picture what what we saw.
Yeah, well, we'll put.
there was
pictures
a
up
lot
and
more
stuff.
intense spirit. Your broad session in the basement, but I can't for the life
We
of me
did.
remember.
We did something upstairs.
And it lasted like an hour and a half,
Third
or
It was a
at
long time.
least.
Didn't we?
Yeah, I think we got some spirit ball action.
Oh,
from
that's
what-
right,
We got
yeah.
some. That's when we
on
were
the third
hearing the
floor.
so-called bat that wasn't really the bat, but there were the spirit balls, and we had some of those going off as
Yeah.
well when we were up there.
Well, we had a lot of the footstep tracker going
Yes.
off too when we were up there.
Oh yeah, that was
We were
up there. I
get a lot
forgot,
of yes
yeah.
or no questions to
Yeah,
that too.
yeah,
So
okay.
I don't remember what we asked.
Yeah,
but it
we'll
was
have to
fun.
go
There's
back
something
and
here
review
with
that,
us
but
and
yeah, it would
flash,
go off and
you know, but we couldn't get any like concrete details, but you know, would let us know that it was there.
Yeah.
Other than when on Lisa's rods, when she could get things, because she could pick. You know, if there's
Yeah.
3 or 4 things coming through, she could try to be specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And other than that, it seemed like Smith Parish was the one that was dominating.
Yeah,
almost
for
every-
sure.
It's his,
It's his place, and he wants,
yeah.
It's been around a long time.
And he seems.
You gotta think though, how many people actually thoroughly go through that building as much as we did?
Right.
You know,
We
to
should say-
every spot.
The subway only is a small
Yes,
section of that.
front-
building.
the
Right
front
inside
building.
the
Yeah,
building.
fifth of the building.
And some of the employees have never been up on the.
No, the girl who was giving us the tour of the building had
Yeah,
never
that-
been on the 3rd floor.
Right.
Yeah.
She
There
said,
wasn't a lot of
there's one
stories
up
about
there.
the 3rd floor because nobody's been
Nobody
up
goes up there, yeah.
Yeah.
Second story, from the 1st floor, they hear a lot of walking around, sometimes dragging noises.
Yeah.
And they would see stuff in the back hallway that goes up to the stairs.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think, we got a lot of Mr. Parrish because he likes to make himself known. He makes
Yeah.
himself known even without the equipment. He lets
he
them know
really
he's
does
there.
let people see him,
Yeah.
feel him, sometimes touch,
Well, one of the girls said that she was telling him that, we're coming, and she said, "Are you here?" And a magnetic board on the refrigerator flew off and hit her
Yeah. Like not
from across the room.
violently,
Yeah,
but
Just-
like
And then
but they let her know.
tossed it at
no.
her.
Yeah.
So she put it back, and she said, "If that was you, do it again." Did it again.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. We gotta try to get their stories again and try to condense them all.
We
because
will-
There's so many that they have.
Eventually, I have a lot of the backstories and history of these places saved in documents. But eventually, we're going to try to start adding all these to our website. Lisa's actually done some already, but I've got a lot more to. But I got to write it in a more legible way.
Yeah.
SpiritHunters.group. Check us out. All of our social media's on there. Our store, all
Did
designed
you
by
have a
Lisa.
question, or you're like,
I was gonna say, but he went a little longer, so I was like, wait, where?
yeah. So you want to get to some of our questions?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. This is one a good one for Lise because she does a lot of the walkthroughs and lots of feelings. One of them is there a way to determine if a place is going to have good activity? Like before we start, is there a way that you determine like, ooh, this place is going to be?
I like to do like a lot of online. I see if there's like a lot of, like if you give me a place, I'll try to Google it and then I'll do like stories
really good at
about
research, by the way, guys. She's
stories about da
phenomenal
da
at
da
it.
da building, and then I'll just like feed through and I'll be like, oh, okay, well this person said, oh yeah, they spent the night here, and there's knocks on the windows or door opening or whatever. And I'm
Getting
just like, oh.
getting the history. There's a lot of people that now with the internet makes things a lot easier when it comes to that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we should say too what walkthroughs are, because some people don't know these bigger places. Because a lot of times a walkthrough, especially in a bigger place, we're getting the history and the stories and all the, and the size of the
It's
place.
like an hour plus.
An hour,
Like an hour, at least an hour and a
So
half.
what we try to do is before we do an investigation, we do a walkthrough, a day where we can take the hunter and camera, and document what the place looks like in a day and time, and the rooms, and get all that done. And sometimes we get weird things
Activity
that
when
happen.
you're doing that.
Yes.
I like to take my phone too, and I'll do like an EVP as we go through.
And you've got a lot of stuff on
Oh,
those
a lot.
initial
just on the
EVPs,
walkthroughs, yep.
Her
Yeah.
phone
Then you're like,
microphone's
okay,
insane.
this is going to be a good place.
Yeah.
Kind of related into that, is there certain thing like other than like the walkthrough or maybe even history, like certain features or things that and you guys can jump in that you think would add to this is probably going to be a good place because it has
Like
Tragic
wells
past.
and water sources
Ooh,
seem to be a
there you
huge
go.
one.
Yeah, sandstone or other conductive stones,
Places that have tragic
Places have-
histories.
long histories.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes we have places that the grounds had a previous history, where they're native occupation.
Yeah.
Cemeteries.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of tells to it. You just
Even railroads right next to a house really can add a lot of power because a lot of power goes through that.
Yeah.
track.
Yeah.
And it gives people, an
Constant
energy
friction,
source for
which is-
digital spirits to use.
Out of the investigations that you've done, which would you most like to revisit?
Mimic House.
Honestly, as upsetting as that was at times, not upsetting, well, yeah, I
It
think
was
all of
a
us
little
got a little
disturbing at times, for
irritating.
sure.
I would love to go back there with the equipment we have now. We have more
a
experience.
lot more
and
stuff,
go
yeah.
and like
More
do
camp-
another
yeah.
investigation.
Right,
I think that would
and
be-
with
We got better
more
cameras,
knowledge
too.
now what to expect and how we can
Yeah.
interact.
What did we do with Boo Bear in the Mimic House?
I don't remember.
I don't recall Boo Bear
Oh,
being
he was in
involved.
one of the
living room.
He was in that room.
Yeah.
Living
Yeah.
room.
Living room and
Off the kitchen.
We should put him in the basement.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Like chucked across
Or,
the room.
yeah,
Just
just
really
we're watching camera, Boo Bear just goes, ah!
or
We beat it
mimic
in well.
house,
Or just like, just
Yeah, Boo Bear starts running away.
or could imagine it.
Oh.
It's mimicking everybody's voices. Imagine Boo Bear starting to use our voices.
Oh, that'd be cool as hell.
Or if it started mimicking Boo
Or if
Bear
it
and
started
it was like,
answering Boo Bear
it was
in
like,
Boo
Boo
Bear's
Bear
voice.
If we're down there and Dad starts hearing, hey Dad, come here real quick.
Yeah.
And Hunter's upstairs smoking. Hunter, third person.
Yeah.
I'm upstairs smoking. Dad's like,
No, or you hear Boo Bear, I like scary stories. Do you like scary stories? And it's like, yes, I do. You know, like it's the same voice.
Yeah,
Mom, you got
Who
one?
are you?
Any of them that you've been to that you would like to revisit?
she hasn't been as many good
I
ones as
haven't
we
been
have.
to as
yeah.
many. Some of the places you've had the most activity, like Mimic House in the graveyard.
Yeah, she.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
next time
there.
we go to Hincoop, you should come with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go out there.
Stonehouse.
What'd you say, Monk?
The Dudley.
Monkey
Dudley.
wants the Dudley. The Dudley.
The Dudley.
Monkey wants revenge.
At the Dudley.
He's like, let's go.
Elise, you got one?
yeah, even though we just did it back in April, I would like to do the museum again.
Oh,
That'd
World
be
War
great.
II.
And we are.
Museum,
We
yeah.
already talked to them about doing the World War II
We can be
museum
more
again.
thorough with that because we know what spots are hot already. you
Yeah,
know.
we're looking at next season doing another
Yeah.
Nice.
World War II 2.
Yes.
World War II.
That'd be
PT2.
World War
World War
Same.
II squared. Yeah.
Well, I have a couple, but the main one probably the Stonehouse. And we're going to be going back there hopefully
Yeah.
in September.
Nice.
But well, go ahead. You got it. I was
You
going to
just
say the Elks
jinxed it.
Club. I'd love to go to that too.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Okay, so kind of the opposite of that. Is there any place that you would not go back
You didn't
to?
tell us the place you wanted to go to again.
Oh, probably the Mimic House. I mean, the Mimic House, like you guys said, with the equipment we have now.
Would be sick.
But see, the Mimic House is
see if I can
scary
get
to
there.
me
I keep forgetting.
that there's a spirit
Oh,
that
because
can
I don't
mimic
think
your
that's a human
voice.
entity in there.
It's
No.
not.
It's
It's
not
not
human.
a human.
No.
It's not.
Mimic House or Stone. I'm looking forward to going back to the Stone House.
Because-
Because like I said in the last podcast, Stone House, I'm coming for you.
It can mimic
Lance wants
the
his
people
revenge.
voice, but it could mimic people
Who
who
weren't
are
there.
Weren't even there, yeah,
relatives
right.
that weren't there.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
terrifying
good
to
episode,
me.
guys. Check that out and check
Yeah.
out some of the highlights we
And
have of it.
use
that.
terminology that we didn't use there.
Yeah.
On
Right.
YouTube, Spirit Hunters Inc. Check it out.
Well, that's where you are right now.
Yeah, you're right.
So there,
You guys want to go to where you want to throw down?
yeah.
Oh.
Any places that you would
Hen coop.
not go back
Oh,
to?
no.
Would
Yeah.
not?
Would not
I can think of one.
Yeah.
be nice.
I'm probably thinking the same thing as him.
Yeah, you guys are jerk faces.
Would
No, we're not saying.
Yeah. They
I'll tell ya.
they would prefer these two especially like active places.
I love that.
You know, like Hunter
Well, we all
Hunter at the
prefer
Mimic House.
active
He's like, I
places.
feel like something like was wanting to slip my throat. Man, I want to go back there.
Well, as,
You know,
also,
less-
as a note,
I like
to the
the
people
adrenaline.
watching, our first couple investigations were very
We're so
active.
hopping.
So now
Yeah.
when we have one that's not
We're
as
like,
active,
it's-
it's kind of like,
It's just.
Yeah, well, we get
we said earlier we got spoiled.
yeah.
we
Yeah,
get
you know.
stuff now that would have made it into like Paranormal Activity. You know,
Yeah.
like the movie.
Yeah.
Like we get stuff like that, and we're like, you're not a demon mimicking
Yeah.
alien. I guess that's all
You're
right.
not
that
trying
you
to
can
cut
roll
my
a ball
throat,
across
so-
the table.
Well, I wouldn't want to go back to the raccoon house.
Raccoon house?
Just,
Where the raccoons were living in it because
Grandma was afraid that she was going to get attacked by a raccoon.
plus it was so filthy you
Could
had
you
to wear
imagine
gloves
that?
to go in there. It was
Well, they're
And
getting,
you-
For the viewers, that's
mass-
the Wilmot Estate.
yeah, and they're
a
getting
mess
ready
that you
to.
can't breathe in.
They're getting ready to demolish the house. Like
Yeah.
the couple just got it, and they're
I
trying
hope
to
they
figure
keep
out
the
what to
cabin,
do with
'cause that
it.
place is
The
shut.
cabin they're going to
The
keep.
cabin
house,
I did like, and I
The
They're
house,
had.
going
I
to
think
rehab the
they're-
house too. They're just,
Are they?
Yes, they're going to do
That's
the
gonna be a lot of work.
barn first,
Okay.
and then they're doing the house.
So you guys would not go back to the places where we really didn't get much activity.
I might still go back.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, if there was a place that
And
it has a
figured out
lot of
what day you
stories.
catch some
Yeah, I was about to say
Yeah.
the places that like they could have a lot of history stories to them, and it just happens to be that one day we
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
or we didn't have the right equipment out or whatever, you know. I
Any
don't know.
that you guys wouldn't go back to?
Well, places that are less active, or
Yeah.
that were tiny, that were,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
certain places like
I
that.
don't know. We had a
I
couple
would-
smaller ones. That
I
were
wouldn't
active.
pick them as a number on my
No.
top 10 list.
Like, yeah, if we're gonna revisit something, it'd be.
In places we know that there's
Yeah.
activity, we could spread
I
out.
don't
do
think
things, you know.
any member of the team has been to a place that we were like, oh, that was too creepy. I'm not gonna go back.
No,
I don't
not
think
on the
that's
creepy
Like we
side.
want to go back to those ones
Because they're creepy.
because we're
messed up.
mentally
head.
deficient.
We
Um,
got one more good one.
yeah, we could do a couple.
Cut time.
You guys seem to break into teams while investigating. How do you determine who goes with whom?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well,
Whatever.
Chrissy has to be leashed to Lance, so.
Yeah,
I go
that-
up with Diana sometimes.
yeah, her and Tana go off and
Yeah, and she's gone off with Christine.
It usually
and
goes
other
by
people.
couples. So them two, these two.
How I usually.
And I
And
go
then
off
my
by
monkey
my
Lance,
monkey
yeah.
Lance. They're a good couple.
like Monkey said when we were discussing this question, he says, well, A team and B team.
Yeah.
A team being the young cool guys, the young cool kids.
I don't know if
B-
we're young or
B
cool
team
anymore.
being the elderly folk.
Yeah, well, I
um,
must be C-team because I go off by myself most of the time.
No, that started, and we were making a joke at the Stonehouse Cemetery. I was narrating for the camera as we were walking around like
Yeah, I remember
the
that.
cemetery over here, and I was like, "You're here with Spirit Hunters 18." You know.
I always just kind of split up. Most of the time I'm with these guys, but then other times I'm here. Or,
Yeah.
the rare occasion I
Sometimes
go on
I
my
go up
own.
by myself and then I'll hear, "Hey Lisa, where are you?
Yeah.
Are you ready for a ride session?"
You go off here on your own too.
I do want to know when she's
I
going
like
to do a
going off
rod
doing
session.
myself.
Specific
You
ones
were
by
by
yourself,
yourself most of the time.
which we don't
when were
necessarily
working.
recommend,
Yeah.
but what I
was
usually
with
try
Scotty
to do
most of the
is
time
me and
when
Lisa
we
will
worked in
do
museum.
some key places that we know there's activity, do the rod session.
Yeah.
Because people like that, she needs somebody to film her. And then we kind of do our little,
I like it when you tell me you're going to do a rod session because I really enjoy them.
yeah, Mom does. And a lot of people actually really like
Yeah,
the rod
they're-
session. I
yeah.
don't know.
They
They
can be
really-
very entertaining.
Very important equipment, walkie-talkies, especially
Yeah,
if
keep
you're
in
off
touch,
by
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll pair off or break into groups to try to like.
People
You know,
that are
if,
more
like-
sensitive.
Chrissy and Hunter and I have been together for a while. We don't get anything. We'll try to like switch it up and like okay.
And,
like,
and
if
we should.
put,
We
like,
probably should do
Chrissy
that a
with
little
Lisa
bit more,
and-
but
Yeah.
yeah. we should.
Like example, Maplehurst or Maplewood,
How's a maple
I
house?
don't even know what
the
that is.
Lilydale.
Really?
Oh, okay.
You guys weren't getting anything.
They didn't.
And then
Whatever
we went
did
and
not
sat
like
in the
me
room
at
with
Lilydale.
The
No.
paintings
Like,
or whatever. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
legitimately like Chrissy is with me all night up to that point.
Yeah, and I got, like,
and we
nothing.
got nothing
And
whatsoever.
then I like
she
separated
walks
from
away
him,
And
and
me,
then
you,
like,
and Grandma went up there.
immediately
Yeah.
without me. You guys walk into a room, balls start going off.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Like,
dang, like I
We got a
got,
lot of
I
activity
got
there, yeah.
nothing there.
But you didn't. But
No,
when
and
you-
every time I was
But
with
when you were in
somebody,
group environments, that like they would have the rip pod, the cat balls going off.
no, when I came in, it stopped,
It would stop.
Oh.
and they only got it when
They
I
didn't
left.
like
that went off from
It
me.
literally-
It could be worse. It could be like 8 and it's 3 feet from you. You don't even
no,
know what's going on.
your cat balls and the rim pod were going off in the painting room. So I came in, it stopped, I sit in there for a while, and you guys were like, dude, it was crazy. And nothing, so I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I shut the door behind me, I hear the REM pods start going off. I was like,
Are you kidding me?
okay, I guess I'm just, so I'll go just sit in the lobby, I suppose. Like, you know, or, we were doing the spirit box upstairs and didn't get anything. I think Mom was on it or something. And Mom, it was her first spirit box session. She was not accustomed to the sound levels.
Yeah.
So she was shouting
Yeah.
everything. She's like, I don't get anything. And I'm like, I'm going to go get some coffee. I go downstairs. It's a man. He said, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Like, all right then. Well, like I just started talking to the Lilydale people
Perhaps though,
downstairs.
it could have been your medicine.
It was,
you had on
it
you.
was my attitude.
Well, you didn't come in with a bad attitude though.
I'm very skeptical. Very
It used to be a
skeptical
lot worse,
about
you know.
certain things.
Yeah.
You know.
And yeah, he was
I mean, I wasn't.
a little bit different that day to begin with. He was a little out of sorts or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just very skeptical about certain things, and
Yeah.
like, I think it was like, well, I couldn't do nothing for you. You're just.
You're just in the ale.
That's why we gotta
You
go
probably
with
one
an
more.
open mind.
Let me see here.
Get something good.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not good. We answered this one. I guess maybe be interesting. How can people distinguish between a legitimate ghost story and a hoax?
Well, there are a lot of factors.
I was gonna say that'd be hard to answer. Those.
Well, okay. This goes into a different question too that we were discussing earlier. We were going to answer, and I forgot about it till just now.
Yeah.
Into like debunking a place. Like there was a location that we went to that was known for being haunted and marketed as being haunted.
Yeah.
But even some of the stories that were relayed to us of the haunting there seemed a little
Fishy.
Suspect.
suspect. So when we went in, we looked for and found,
Like hidden doorways.
yeah, we're
Bookshelves that were supposedly just bookshelves, but they were actually doors. A lot of attic and basement activity that was happening below and above these people's rooms
that the people
were only
didn't have access
accessed
to.
by the owner.
Yeah.
They're very suspicious.
Mhm.
We also-
And like one of the things was,
They asked how many wires and stuff are we going to have for our
yeah,
cameras.
if you investigate, how many wires will you have going across the floor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
specifically the hallway floor
Yeah.
where the doors were
Yeah.
hidden.
To the secret passages, yeah.
And then like some of the stories that people,
Keep in mind they lived in the apartment attached to the
Yeah.
bottom of that house.
some of the stories people had were like, oh, we smelled smoke like coming up through the floorboards in our room, and we're like, yeah, that's an easy,
Easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
the
because
vents.
then and they were like, oh, the man who used to live here was a cigar smoker. You know, and I'm like, yeah, and so is whoever's in the basement.
Yeah.
smoking through the floor.
Which in every room that they had was vents on either side of the room.
Yeah.
And they would feed these stories to the people before they would stay there, so they were already aware
They would also
of them.
encourage them to drink before.
Yeah.
I
This
thought
is
you were gonna
another
say feed them to
warning
the
sign.
animals.
Yeah.
When the person says,
Silence of the
I'm not spilling this place is haunted, if they see it, that's their thing. But every item in there is a creepy,
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah,
every
it's all
Pictures on the
staged.
wall, they're all curated.
all the
creepy
pictures
way.
are-
Yeah.
Purpose. Every book in there
Yeah.
is a horror
Stephen
novel.
King,
A lot of
like,
yeah.
Every,
Even
yeah.
the music is creepy.
Yeah.
And then their own T-shirts are selling haunted,
Yeah.
but they're not. That's
We're
not
not,
what
we're not
they're.
playing it.
But listen too,
Oh,
remember
and books to log your thing.
remember my EVP though that I got out of there? It was, I can't remember the exact same thing, but it said something about my name, and we played it over and over
Yeah.
and over.
Oh, see,
It said Lisa.
and she's right. It said her name and something about. Now, this house, we should say, was a house over 7,000 square foot house.
but only
It was
a
also
little bit.
over 200 years old. So there was certainly probably spirits there.
Yes.
We just think that this woman was adding stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when she got the EVP, it made us, maybe consider it. But how are we going to be doing that? How do we know if we're talking to a spirit or somebody with a broom hitting the floor above?
Yeah.
We
Do
don't
you
know.
remember the music that started playing when we got there?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What? I mean,
Very,
it was
very-
music from a time period.
Where they used words that you shouldn't.
Inappropriate
Yeah.
Towards
for
a certain
African Americans.
Yeah.
race.
And we're native. We empathize
Yeah.
with that. And it was.
Yeah. Like, okay, if you're gonna
Very
choose something
professional.
to play,
Yeah.
like,
There was a whole selection
oh.
of songs, and that was the one that was played.
just remember not too many
No.
Yeah.
details.
Not to remember, she said we could bring our own. They said we could bring our own alcohol, and we
No,
could.
she encourages people to
Yeah.
before you
Their own
investigate.
alcohol and
Like she
start,
comes
you
and
know.
drinks with them, and
Yeah. Which makes them a little more easier to.
Yeah, because they have a
manipulate.
bar there with this real scary statue
yeah, that's true.
holding a drink tray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
things like that. As far as
skeleton scenes
Yeah.
and stuff.
As far as like ghost stories that you hear, the best way I think is just to determine if the person is full of it or not.
Yeah.
Like
Well, research on the property,
Yeah.
whatever helps too. But
Yeah.
you have to be careful, even if places that are potentially haunted.
yeah.
If you get one person like that, I mean, it just
Uh,
then you can't validate anything. It just
Mhm.
makes it a joke.
Like I said, I think this question was more geared towards stories. Like I need to turn, but I think in general, most people, like a ghost story for a normal person, like an occurrence that happens, is much more mild than a lot of the stuff you're going to see on like TV.
Oh yeah.
Somebody,
Incredibly.
like I am more inclined to believe somebody if they're like, man, I lived in a house and like we'd wake up in the morning, the cabinets would be open.
Yeah.
Or the coffee cups would be out. Then if I'm talking, and they're like, I lived in a house and I saw the girl from The Grudge crawl across my ceiling every night.
Yeah.
Like, no,
No,
you
you
didn't.
didn't.
Like you did, unless you lived in a house with Lisa. Like you did not.
Usually, if it seems like a page out of Amityville or something like that.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
If
probably
it seems a
didn't
little
happen.
too wild, it's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
because
is.
in general, like 99.9% of all the supernatural things that a normal person, unless you're out looking for it, or unless you're a freak has
a team.
weird stuff that's attracted to you. Like 99% of
No, you're
most
not.
people's ghost stories is, I feel like, a lot of people have them, but it's going to be much more tame than anything you see on, like you said, Amityville or
Yeah.
The
Yeah, it's
Conjuring.
not like that.
It's going to, because 99%, just like humans, of the spirits that are interacting with you is just another person who's passed on.
Yeah.
It's not something with the power that's going to make the house implode on itself.
Right.
Like it's going to throw pool balls around in the basement.
Yeah, we
stuff
lived
like
in a
that.
house
Yeah,
like
move
that.
little things.
Throw the pots and pans out of the
But
cupboard.
there are some really cool stories out there. The ones I always, you might get like a little section of it, and you don't really understand what's going on. This girl is being haunted, right? There's something that seems to be really messing with her, and nobody, she's not to this, and then you find out, well, you know what? This tattoo artist is putting, was part of a black cult. It's using rattlesnake blood in all his ink to curse people he does ink on. Things, weird stuff like that. It
Good
happens.
plot for a movie.
That is.
In other words, don't get tattoos.
I'm going to write that down.
Well, there's other ways. There's people that do stuff.
No, the
that makes it
rattlesnake
people-
blood.
Because
curse
you always
people.
think when somebody says, well, I'm haunted or whatever, what did you do? But sometimes it could be something else that completely,
That's true.
Like drown, die.
Yeah, you could die and then you get ghosts visiting
Well,
you.
like some of the best stories are hospitals and stuff like that, because there's so much different stuff going on there. I think half the time when they're seeing these dark shadows in these rooms with these hospitals, it's probably some version of death coming for this person,
Like nursing home.
But sometimes,
Nursing homes, yeah.
but there's sometimes there's other stuff. You
Mhm.
know, you get such a melting pot going into hospitals.
Yeah.
That's for years.
I also give more determining if it's a hoax or not. The people who, aren't necessarily well versed in supernatural things who mention that, like my pet sees it.
Right.
Because like pets are way more attuned.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
they do
there's probably something
We
in
do
your
have
house.
a lot of those types of stories. You can tell like certain people just seem really genuine.
Yeah.
But I know one of the funnest things, since we're just shooting the shit or stuff here, when we get other stories from other religious faiths or backgrounds.
Mhm.
We talked about it a little bit, but we're talking to some people with Pennsylvania Dutch, dramatic Pennsylvania Dutch. I love those stories.
Yeah.
A lot of
Dramatic, not dramatic.
He said Germanic, yeah.
I know, but it sounded like it could have been
Yeah.
dramatic.
There's lots of different faces. We've been talking
Yeah.
to people, and then there's some weird ones. I got a guy on. Oh, well, he's a medicine man. Oh yeah, he hangs out over here. Why isn't he with his people? I don't know.
That's a good way to tell if a story you're hearing is a hoax. If they say they are a medicine man.
They're a hoax. Period.
Especially
it's
if
a
they're
hoax.
not with their people, because it's not like they advertise that. That's
No.
they,
A real medicine
Or a lot
man
of
doesn't
times
go
that they
around saying
announce
I'm a
that they
medicine
have
man.
like
Yeah.
special
I have
powers, or
powers.
they have like
I can
whatever,
heal
like thing like.
Yeah.
Still to this day, when mom raises her hand, I flinch.
Well, that's true.
There's
That's
mom.
true. Yeah.
There's mom power. Yes, there
Yeah.
is. The evil eye works on the kids.
Oh, evil eye.
Sometimes I just wake up flinching because you didn't know when
we
you were
talked
asleep.
about the
when you might
evil
get
eye. You
snapped.
want to tell about what the evil eye really was intended for? How it was used? Or do you know?
What? Are you talking about the metal horns?
No,
Do you-
Evil eye is literally, I go eyeball, right? The idea was, if somebody gives you an evil eye, it's not a bad,
Gotcha.
a bad thing. It's usually a piece of glass or a stone.
Too reflection.
And the idea is, you put it in your pocket. It's almost like a
ward.
Rabbit's
Yeah.
right.
Oh.
So whatever the evil that is they're trying to be passed to you bounces back on itself.
I thought you were talking about.
That's the people think evil eye is a bad thing. It's actually a good thing.
Well, that's what.
No, evil eye is when your mom stares
Yeah.
at you when
But
you're mad at her.
the Romani would call it evil eye when they try to jinx somebody. And that's where
Yeah.
that's where
That's what most
the devil
people is.
the metal horns come from is because Glenn Danzig's grandmother was like a Romani woman,
right.
so she would teach
Another
him
cool
because
history
it was a sign of protection.
Yeah, to ward off.
Yeah, so he started doing that on stage because that's what his grandma would do to protect herself and people, because it was Danzig. They were like, it must be a metal thing, and then eventually AC/DC, they're like, it's devil horns, but it was kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we actually have been going on for quite a
We've
while
been
now, so we'll wrap this episode up and.
We're sorry we haven't been putting enough of these out lately. We've just been really busy.
Yeah.
I think we said that in the last one. but-
Yeah.
Yep, lots of investigations.
Yeah,
But-
so lots more podcasts and stories coming up. Keep an eye out for. Follow us on all our social media. You can find links to everything at SpiritHunters.group.
Please like and comment on our
Yes.
stuff. It helps us.
And
Like,
share
comment,
it.
subscribe, share,
Yeah, subscribe.
follow, depending on what the platform is.
Check out ghostlychronicles.com for Lisa's blog.
And we're going to give Bill, because I love
William
the guy.
P. Robertson, Ghosts
William
Revisited,
P. Robertson, right.
1 through 6.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way,
That's another 25
the
cents, Bill.
parish house that we were talking about, seems like forever ago now, is in volume 7 coming out.
Well,
50 cents, Bill.
Spirit Hunters is in volume 6.
Yeah, we're already 2 or 3 stories in volume 7 too. So anyway.
With that being said, Lisa,
Happy hunting.
see you guys later.
I'm going right now.
I don't care.
You know,
That's
on.
That's live.
Yeah, I know. Why would I even try to explain that? Hey, Wedge, you're not on the show.
he's like, look at my ass.
Look at my butthole.
This is my.
He got lower ass, I think, too.
This is my haunted sphincter.